three of us have been cooped up in this cabin, a wonderful, beautiful cabin.
Yep.
For 4 nights?
Mm-hmm. We got
too many
left.
nights. And here we are.
Together. We learned a lot about each other.
We're really delirious and tired right now.
Yeah.
Because
we've been up 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You were up at 2 by accident, but 4 o'clock every morning fishing the Kenai River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the third day in a row.
Mm-hmm.
In torrential downpours.
Yes.
And like when you think of the worst like Alaskan weather that isn't snow, like this, that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Even
we were in a
our
boat.
guide was like, that was pretty bad. And
Hard
they
downpour all day.
live here, so
Yeah, and to make matters worse, the fish were not biting, but
for a while,
we
hours.
We outsmarted them.
Yes, we got our limit.
Both
Again.
days. Like I was saying, it was the exact opposite of the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hi, we're in Alaska.
hi.
We're in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
We are recording an introduction to a podcast that we've already recorded with our good friends, and hosts for the week, Dustin and Dallas Voss of Explore Kenai, and our other hosts for the week, Xander and Catherine from, where are we?
Kenai Adventure
Kenai
Cabins.
Adventure
Adventure
Cabins.
Cabins. Lots of Kenais going
We're
on.
real tired right now.
Yeah, and so we wanted to just do a little intro for you guys, let you know what was coming up.
Well, mostly because of how tired we are and how kind of like close, like buddy we got with all these people. We kind of just jumped right in without really
Any explanation.
explaining anything. And there's lots of inside jokes, which you might
call.
not get some of them. But I think what's cool about that is you're going to see, I think, the bond that we've made with our guides. And I think, if anything, that's what is the most special about this and what we're trying to get across in what it's like to work with a really good guide who cares and wants you to have a good time. And so, yeah, you might not get everything, but
And
you know what?
they're just awesome people. They're just like the most solid, awesome people too.
Yeah, amazing.
Like, it would be so easy for them. Like we did this, and then we just sat around eating dinner together and having whiskeys and beers and just relaxing and being friends.
Yeah.
And it is hard to connect with people like that. But we've spent 3 8-hour days in a row in a boat with them, so you learn a lot about each other. And we hope that comes out in the podcast.
Yeah, and we touched on it a little bit, but essentially we're, like Tim said, we're out here in Kenai, Alaska. Well, technically
Soldotna, Kenai Peninsula.
We're on the Kenai Peninsula, and we've been fishing the Kenai River. And you'll hear more about it on the episode, but this kind of just came together from some people in Paso who happen to be Dallas, our fishing guide's parents, and they connected us, and a lot of pieces fell into place. So we ended up here, and we're just on this awesome trip, and we decided to make a film called Alaskan Tides. And so we've been working on that, filming everything we've been doing on the boat, out of the boat, hanging
Almost
out.
falling in.
Yeah, Andrew almost falling in many times. And yeah, so we just wanted to make sure we had a chance to do a podcast about the experience ahead of the film, so people could kind of get a sense of what this is before that film comes out.
So I don't often get excited. We've established that this trip.
He's kind of a stick in the mud.
Dude, I'm a real good time. I'm just not easily impressed. But what I will tell you is everything has impressed me, including the footage that I've already seen. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be some epic shit.
I know something else that really impressed you. The size of that fish I caught today.
The one in Baja?
No, dude.
The one he was comparing it
No,
to.
bro.
Oh, got it.
11 pounds. That was me.
Yeah, we weighed a big one. We're like,
All
this
skill.
one's gonna be 11.
All
it was
skill.
8 something.
No,
Then
it was
we weighed-
nine
it was
even.
9
Just
even?
about, yeah.
We weighed his. The next one just came right in after that. Reeled that thing in. 11.
You'll see
No
it
big
all.
deal. No big
It'll all
Thing's
be.
getting heavy.
Yeah.
It will all be revealed to you in this beautiful film that we're putting together, and yeah. Now we got to go find a grizzly bear to feed me to.
All right.
Bucket list.
We need that. We need that. We need that last shot for the film.
Yeah. Tim running away from
Character
the
arc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, enjoy.
Enjoy the show. All right. Here we are.
We're not in Sheep's Head Outfitters.
No, we are not.
Not, and we're not
Where
at
are
one
we,
of our
Tim?
homes either.
Where are we?
We are in Alaska. We're in Alaska.
Just realized I'm wearing these headphones still, and I probably look funny.
Yeah, you do.
I'm the
But
only
I
one.
don't think the headphones are going to help.
Burn.
We, every other podcast episode we've done, right, has been in Sheep's Head World Headquarters in Paso Robles.
Yep.
And we decided to take the show on the road. So we are in Alaska, more specifically on the Kenai Peninsula in Soldotna, right? I did it all?
That's
I got
it.
all?
Nailed it.
And we have quite a few guests today. But I guess furthermore, where specifically are we? We are in a wonderful cabin. What direction are we from town? West? South of town? Southwest of town. 10 minutes southwest of town. Kenai Adventure Cabins. We have been in a 2-bedroom cabin for 4 days now. So
The living room has been my bedroom.
it's true. John's been in the living room. So we thought it would be apt to bring on Catherine and Xander, who kind of run the place up here, and learn a little bit more about Kenai Adventure Cabins and what you guys are up to and how long you've been around and what your roles are here. And, you know, if people are interested in coming to Kenai, what they should reach out to you for. That kind of
Awesome. Thank you. So I am Catherine. I'm the property manager. I handle almost all the client relationships. Kenai Adventure Cabins was established in June of 23.
First week we were open for to the public was first week of July of 2023.
So we're pretty newly established. We have 17 structures. We've got 4 2-bedroom cabins. We have 12 one-room cabins, and we are very specific about that verbiage because they are technically dry cabins, but I'm always hesitant to say they're dry cabins because when I think dry cabins, I think of like a duct tape mattress,
Right.
like stuffed with newspaper, kind of gross, but that is not the case with
I
our
think
facility.
like no beer allowed when I hear dry cabins, but it's not like that. They can have beer.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Assuming you're over 21, you bet.
Yes.
And then the 12 cabins have access to what's called our base camp, which have 2 fully stocked kitchens. And then on the opposite side is our bathhouse, which has 7 private bathrooms, along with 3 washer and dryer units that are non-coin operated. And then we provide, that's super important.
It is.
Then we provide obviously like linens, towels, pillows, laundry pods. That way your stay here is comfortable with Kenai Adventure Cabins. And I do not live on site. Xander is the one who lives on site. Do you want to tell them about
Xander, what do you do here?
Yeah, and Xander, you're family, right? Like this is a
Yes.
family business. Tell us more
Yeah,
about
so there's 6 owners. The 6 owners are my parents, my dad's sister and her husband, and then their daughter and his husband, or her husband. Yeah. And
And you got picked to live here on site.
pretty much.
Did you draw the short straw, or
well,
how did
so
that work?
Or the long straw. I mean, look
Yeah.
at how
It
sweet
was
this place is.
like Thanksgiving.
Hold your mic a little bit.
I want to
closer.
say it was Thanksgiving, probably like 2021, 2022,
Yeah.
and we were all starting to talk about it, right? It was kind of, the idea was coming into fruition, and then we decided on a property, this property, and I was like, do you guys need a property manager, right? And they actually hadn't really thought about it, right? Because it was very, very early, and I'm like, yeah, I'll so I'd been here on a couple of fishing trips, probably 3 or 4 fishing trips, and I always knew I'd love to be in Alaska, but yeah, so when the opportunity came up, I definitely took it.
Where did you come from? Where were you before this?
So I grew up in Golden, Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not from here either.
No, I'm from Washington State. I'm from Washington.
She's from Washington State. If you didn't hear that,
Catch that. We're on the road, so we're not short on mics, but we're traveling light, moving fast.
we just upgraded our gear too, and now I feel like we have to upgrade it again because we've been having these episodes with lots of people, and
yeah,
it's
we
really
always
fun.
get lots of guests. It's like a party. So Golden, Colorado, Washington State. How long have you been up here?
So I was hired on the company in December of 24, and I moved up here in March of 25.
Oh, no way. So you moved up for the job.
I did.
Oh, crazy.
So I accepted
So
the
both of you did, I guess, then,
Yes.
technically.
It's funny. So I talk to a lot of people in the community, and I get told like, "Oh, how'd you end up in Soldotna?" Indeed.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no way. That's cool.
But I'm so grateful and thankful I'm here. I had never even heard of Soldotna when I started interviewing for the position. I'd been a property manager for several years prior to accepting this position up here, and it is different because it's short-term rentals, but it's been awesome. I love it here.
Right. What would you say, like, somebody's interested in coming here to, like, for whatever reason, like, what type of people would you say it's not best fit with Kenai Adventure Cabins, but like, you know, it's sort of, it reminds me a little bit of like, it's a little DIY, right? So you're kind of like, you can do your own thing. Like, you know, if we need towels, Xander will bring them or something. But for the most part, you're on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have a check-in desk. All of our check-in communication is done via email the day prior. That way you're not left wanting for information. We include a map just because our property is on 4 developed acres. So there's quite a, you know, you can drive around, but I always like to send a map prior. That way you're not wanting for information. I think the people best suited for Kenai Adventure Cabins are going to be, well, the industry of Soldotna is fishing. It is definitely a tourist town that's growing into a community, a bigger community than just fishing. So I think the people best suited are going to be people who are wanting to jump into the rivers or the ocean. We're right next to the ocean as well. But primarily it's fishing.
Right.
Which kind of brings us to the partnership that the two of you have. So maybe tell us a little bit more about us. If either one of you wants to kind of chime in a little bit. How did that kind of get started? How did you get connected?
Well, and first
maybe.
off, too,
Back up for a second there.
this is Dallas Voss, and Dallas and her husband, who you'll meet later, run Explore Kenai, and this is who we've been spending the last 3 days with. It has felt like one day, honestly, but go ahead. And that's how we met you, was through her.
Yep.
And so that's awesome. So tell us about like how that partnership exists.
Right. So basically Catherine did all the legwork, and they were really great. They sent out emails to all, I mean, she might be able to dive into a little bit more, but she sent out emails to all the businesses that she felt she might want to partner with. And then we went through a pretty serious interview process for what I wasn't expecting. You know, I was expecting just like, oh, cool.
Oh, whoa. So you had to pass a test.
Yeah, like literally like came in, met with Xander's dad. Like, I mean, there was multiple steps to get to where this partnership before it was done and signed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was thinking, oh, sweet, they're going to, you know, we'll send some trips your way. I'll send some clients your way to stay in your guys' cabins. But no, it was like, we're signing a contract. This is a real partnership. We're going to work together. You know, what are the steps that we can do to build and make this partnership, you know, and a positive impact for both businesses and do well, right? So it worked out great for us because we've got the boats. We've got a private slough where the boats are kept, luckily. So we've got that area nailed down. We just don't have the lodging. So being able to partner with Kenai Adventure Cabins gave us a huge missing piece to what we want to offer to our clients. So, you know, she can probably dive into it more, but yeah, I made it through the test, if you will.
That's awesome.
And this is our first year working with them, and excited to see what we can do for them over the winter as far as getting them more clients staying here.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of our clients, this is a perfect place for them to stay. Because when you come to the Kenai, you know, you're spending so much money already on the flights to come up here and the excursions you're staying at, right? So you don't necessarily looking for a 5-star, like, super expensive thing. Like you might want a single cabin so you can just make it more affordable. And that's the great thing about it here is
Someplace to sleep.
just someplace to sleep because
Yeah.
you're not going to be spending much time in there anyways, as you guys found out, right? You're spending the whole day on the water for the most part, right? Or seeing bears or seeing glaciers, right? So you just need a place to put your head down. And with these brand new cabins that are in great shape, it lends itself perfectly for those people.
Yeah, and I have to say, you're seeing this corner of it right here, but his cabins are phenomenal. So you should definitely check this out
Like
if you're
brand
coming out
new.
here. Like brand new. The
Like,
kitchen's amazing.
smell
The
new.
bathroom. They've got washer and dryers, and some of the units that are even just like the smaller bunk beds or something. Those are awesome. Tim even said he might come here for a whole month.
Yeah.
Or 3 and stay in one of those.
It's cheaper than rent in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's awesome.
And you have the whole,
Yeah.
what's it called
Sure.
again? The base camp.
Base camp.
So they have the whole base camp area that's got a bunch of tables, a kitchen, a fireplace, and a bunch of showers and
It's a
washing
shared
machines.
living space.
It's awesome.
But
Yeah.
one thing that's great about the shared living space is it really promotes a sense of community. So when during short-term season and during peak of Alaska tourism is in the summer. So it's really neat to watch these people who would normally never meet because they're in different corners of the world be able to eat breakfast together and go halvesies on groceries. And a lot of our clients are repeat clients, which we're super fortunate to have. And they're already making plans to grocery shop together. And this person's in charge of breakfast this day and able to promote that sense of community.
That's awesome.
I love that because it's so much what we talk about. And I think especially Sheepshead is all about community. And I think even just on this trip, like I can definitely sense that even in this conversation right now, just the idea that you're coming together, you're creating a community so people feel like I can, kind of get everything. Like you even helped us with the halibut charter. So it's really cool, I think, for people who are coming here from out of town. It can be a little confusing and like you're not sure, is this person going to be cool? But if you can kind of, if they come directly through you or through you, I think it's great for people to feel like they are falling into that sense of community beyond even just what you'd experience here, but I think holistically. And I think that's rad. That's a big part of what you guys are trying to do. We love that.
And when I had a call with you and Mike, your dad, that was a lot of what we talked about. It wasn't like, like we wanted to participate. We wanted to partner with you guys too, because we all had the same goals, in life, not just in your business here, but, and it was, I think we probably could have talked for 2 hours, luckily it was only like 40 minutes, but yeah, no, I think there is a great feel here. And I think that, I personally would rather have an atmosphere like this when I'm traveling, and I think you kind of touched on it. It's already so involved, and like there's so much money spent, and there's so much, and I think honestly, like what you get here for the money is so like it's so much nicer because you don't have to worry about like room service or the restaurant closing at 10 or something like that. So it's awesome.
We found, since I've been here, you can see exactly where people are like, okay, I've got a couple grand, let's build some stuff. And then you can see exactly where the money stops. And then you're like, well, okay, I'll get back to it like next summer.
Yeah.
So one thing about the property that's really unique is it's a cohesive design. Every structure and building looks like it belongs here.
That's awesome. That brings up kind of the one thing I want to touch on last, which was any big plans for you guys in the future that you can touch on? Anything you want to announce and release here?
Not necessarily. We have 9 acres. So
Okay.
the property extends 9 acres into the woods that way.
Got it.
So there is definitely
Room to grow.
Exactly.
Cool.
So right now, one thing that Mike loves to say is we got to stay in our lane. We are lodging.
You've been saying that on the boat
I've been
quite a
telling
bit,
John
so.
that for years.
We're lodging, so we've got the rapport with Dallas, so we're confident sending our clients to Dallas to know that she's going to provide her and Dustin are going to provide spectacular customer service, which is part of something that we're aiming to do.
Right.
And we've found is like once you build rapport with, I feel like as humans, once you build rapport with someone, that's who you're like, okay, who do you recommend? What, like, how can you help me? Like, can you,
Sure.
you're already establishing that level of trust. So what we've noticed is like when people come to us and like, okay, who do we go river fishing with? I'm like, I know exactly.
Sure.
I got a gal for you.
That trust, yeah.
Exactly. And, Dallas has had the same one thing that's, I'll let you touch on this, about your business that you do and booking, that Dallas will send them our way as well.
Yeah. And we'll get into that with her coming up for sure. But
I think one more thing, before we let you go, because I know you got babies to put down. I love that you asked us a question when we met you the other day, and the way you phrased it was so awesome. You said, "Have you guys seen your moose?" And I was like, "Our moose?" You're like, "Yeah, the property has one." I was like, "Oh, it's our moose."
Yeah. So
it was so welcoming.
If you want the moose spots, Catherine's got. We haven't seen it yet.
Did you go look?
No, because we were going over to their house for dinner, and we just didn't have time to like wander around. Then we went down like a wrong turn, and John got real scared, so we had to turn around.
To be fair, it's Alaska. People,
Yeah, there was like a shoe
Moose are scary,
on top of a
yeah.
tree, just like a single shoe, and then another twig coming out, and there was a beer can on it, and we were like,
No, John was like,
know,
we gotta turn around.
"Yeah, this looks weird."
Andrew said something about a pretty mouth, and it was time to go. So, well, thank you guys for coming on and talking to us. And any parting words, Xander, Catherine? No.
I was just about to say the people who used to live in this cabin, they hung a lot of bird feeders, and the moose used to love to get into the bird feeders. So
Really? At this cabin that
Yeah.
we're staying in? Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have
There's
to keep an
moose
eye
around.
out.
Maybe we'll go get a bird feeder tomorrow. See what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, thank you. It's been awesome hanging out with you guys all week, and we still have a few more days, so we'll see. Hopefully that moose will show up.
Should.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
We're back. We're back with the Voss family. Explore Kenai. Dustin and Dallas. You met Dallas a minute ago. We swapped out. Got to bring our friend Dustin in. So, as I guess a great way to sort of intro this is, this is a podcast about hunting and fishing. These are fishing guides. We're in Alaska. And we want to get to know them a little better. We've spent the better part of a week with them now.
Yeah.
And it's been absolutely amazing. Like way better than I could have ever imagined. Honestly, like
It's great.
No, like, and we've talked about this a lot. Like I've fished and hunted with guides, and we all have.
Yep.
And this is probably one of the best experiences easily that I've ever had.
Yeah, I've been talking about it a little bit on while we've been hanging out about my trips to Baja and having the luxury of had the same captain and that captain being so awesome. And that felt like an anomaly, like having such a good captain and then come here with a couple amazing guides.
Are you
and I was
telling them
like,
they're not that special?
I'm just saying. I didn't think, I was like, oh man, I've been on a lot of charters and stuff like that. And
Big shoes to fill.
it just, very big shoes to fill. And you guys were like, just as amazing, if not more amazing. Sorry, Marcos in Baja. But yeah, just really appreciate it. It's been a really awesome experience.
Well, great. You guys have been fun to have on the boat. Maybe a little bit more fun in Dustin's boat, as we'll hear later, I'm sure. But
I don't know. That trout day was pretty.
Less tired in Dustin's boat, probably.
a lot less.
It was an early morning. It was
Dustin's fault.
But let's back up. Let's back up a little bit. We want to know about you guys. Yes, we want to talk about the business and all that good stuff. But more importantly, in my opinion, is like who you are, what drives you, a little bit on your background and history. I think it's awesome. The connection of like how we came to be is actually Paso Robles. So yeah, tell us about you. Tell us about how, I guess, your connection to the area down south, and we can go from there.
Right. So, born in Templeton. So, right, as far to my recollection, no hospital in Paso Robles, right? So
There used to be, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was born in it, but it doesn't exist anymore.
okay, so I was
Long
born
time
in
ago.
Templeton, but spent 3 years in Paso, down North River Road.
Yeah,
Does that
sure.
sound right?
Yep.
North River Road down there, on my great grandma's property.
Born
and
on River Road, and here you are, crazy
Yeah, right.
on
North
the
River Road,
Kenai.
and River is still around. So, But my dad worked for Halliburton, so we got transferred, if you will, or probably more or less he took a job up here in the North Slope of Alaska where all the slopers work. So a lot of the Halliburton guys were getting housed in Kenai because Kenai's got an airport. So it's an easy little commuter flight from Kenai to Anchorage, and then up you go to, pretty much as far north as you can go in Alaska. So moved up here, grew up fishing the Kenai River, with my parents. My dad dragged us through to every river he possibly could, and at the time did not appreciate it, right? It was just something we did. It was just part of our childhood that was not, it wasn't cool. It was like, oh, cool. We're fishing, but it wasn't a big deal, right? Like, that's just what we did. We just
You were literally drugged by dad to
Exactly.
go. He wanted to fish, and so you had to go.
He's fishing, and so we're either dinking around in the car or trying to catch minnows from the bank, whatever we could just to stay occupied, right? From there, went to college. Alaskans are kind of encouraged to leave the state, left the state, ended up back in Anchorage for a while, met this guy, and he's like, well, I'm moving to Kenai. I'm like, well, I'm never moving back down there. And a couple years later, here I am, back down in hometown. And basically, when we wanted to start a family, it was like, okay, we're already on the river fishing all the time. What can we do to make an income where I get to stay home with the kids as much as possible, right? Especially when they're young. And that's kind of how Explore Kenai kind of got up and running. And we can dive into that a little bit more later, but kind of bringing it back to what you had asked about this connection, right? So obviously the family eventually, my parents eventually retired. My dad retired from Halliburton, and in 07 or 08, they moved back down to the area and actually bought a house in San Miguel. So we go down every other week or every other year and visit them. And one day I get an Instagram follow by Sheepheads Outfitters. I'm like, what's this? Oh, from Paso Robles. Wow. Well, that's a coincidence. What are the chances that outfitter from Paso Robles is following me on Instagram, right? So I think I messaged the account, and he's like, no, we just met your parents. I'm like,
Yeah, your mom and dad hung out with me for, I want to say, like the better part of an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, they were hanging out.
I would not have expected
they're
that.
like, oh, our kids just left. They would have loved this store. And I was like, oh, where'd they go?
Yeah.
And they're like, back home to Alaska. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'd never been to Alaska. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, I was like, well, what do they do up there? Thinking they're going to say Halliburton or, something like that. And like, no, they're fishing guides. I was like, wait, can you add them on Instagram? Like, I just, when we originally started talking, I was just going to come up and hunt caribou and we might meet or something like that. And that didn't work out because I'm hunting elk this year. And it just kind of worked out that it was like, you guys had some space for us, and we thought, let's come up and get to know you guys and make a film and a podcast and all that kind of fun stuff.
I still remember when Tim, I think the three, like you and I were in the shop, and Tim was like, guys, we're going to Alaska. And I was like, oh man, I don't know, I have some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Tim was like, no, we're going.
We're going.
Like, this is going to be awesome. Make it work. And I'm so glad we did. It's been so cool.
Yeah. I think I did literally have to say, like, make it work. They were
Make
both
it
like,
quote.
I don't know. I don't think so. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, we have to. Like, there's no question.
Got this opportunity, right? When it's not going to.
It's all our first time too. So it's cool
none
to
of us
have
been
that
to
experience.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Mr. Quiet over here.
Yeah, that's
I want
hard.
to hear more about these Anchorage nightclub years.
Fast forward to 25.
That's hard to follow up. But,
when you met at the nightclub.
No, I don't want to do that. That makes me look bad. So I'm 41 now, and 40 of those years have been,
out with it.
40 of them have been in Alaska. I was actually born in Arkansas. Both my parents are teachers, and when they were young and struggling, they somehow heard about jobs in Alaska for teachers that paid a lot, and they rolled the dice, and it's wild to think about. They had never been, accepted jobs, and dude, they moved to a small native village above the Arctic Circle, and I don't know how much they had ever left Southwest Arkansas. And it's crazy to me to look back, like, they're my mom and dad. That's who I grew up with. And I don't view them as adventurous people, but I don't know much more badass you can do than, hey, this is what it takes to provide for a family, and we're doing it, and they did. And so we'd grow up yeah, I spent most of my life in native villages in Bush, Alaska, and then we'd go back to Arkansas for the summers. So it was kind of an interesting upbringing. And when I was a kid, where we lived was like just freedom for a little kid in the summer, pretty much, and just fished all the time. You know, always really loved fishing. And then, you know, we'd come back to Alaska, but unlike where Dallas grew up here, I mean, the Barrow, where I spent the majority of my time, yeah, there were vehicles but no paved roads, no stoplight. You know, there were times where you couldn't go unless you rode the bus home or someone picked you up. You couldn't walk home from school because there were polar bears in town.
Wow, that's crazy.
They would, you know, come up on the PA.
Yeah.
So like a different world where I grew up, and then, but for even flight sports, right? We would fly Alaska Airlines 737
To go to
like Anchorage, and then we'd drive down here, like instead of, you know, taking the bus to go play another team.
to play hockey or something.
We didn't have hockey. Basketball's huge there.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember coming to Kenai and playing or wrestling and just being like, man, these kids are so lucky. Like I wish I lived in a quasi normal town. But, you know, looking back, I wouldn't trade how I grew up.
Yeah.
Because you know, that's what molds you and what makes
Yeah.
you. But anyway, then at 18, I went to college at UAA there in Anchorage and started fly fishing and spent just every chance I could sneaking down to the Kenai. Like we just fished it every chance we got, and then later, you know, worked for various jobs till I kind of found my career, which in the fire service there, and was working as a flight medic back in Barrow for North Slope Borough Fire, and it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and I was just down here all the time, and I'm like, I should buy a cabin or something, and then randomly met one of the firefighters at Kenai Fire, and then he like just wouldn't take no for an answer as far as like, hey, let me get your contact and stuff. And I really owe it to this guy. He's actually now our assistant chief, but he emailed my personal email to be like, hey, we've got a job opening, you should apply. And 11 years ago, it all kind of worked out, and it was right about the time I found out I got hired, we started dating. And yeah, like she was saying, when, you know, we were getting married and trying to figure out like, what are we going to do? And having that, I was already guiding, or it's been a while, but working at the fire department and then guiding on my days off like I do now. And then I'm like, why don't you just guide too? Like, you're awesome at fishing, you like it, you enjoy it, and then you'll have a flexible schedule. You know, we're pretty busy in that May, June, July, August, September, but after that, you know, that'll be perfect for kids. And yeah, it's worked out awesome. Like, it's as far as a life made with someone that, you know, your partner, who's your coworker, my boss, real headache.
Yeah, we're aware now.
Yeah, you got to fish with both of us.
Both of them on the same boat, and one is the boss.
And it's not me. But yeah, so it's.
But awesome at the time, life. you weren't guiding for yourselves. You were guiding for other outfits.
Yeah. Yep. With always we're pretty fortunate going into it. Both the people that we worked for knew we had a goal, and actually like encouraged it too. Like, you know, that which you don't always get.
No. Yeah.
And
so then they got to hire somebody else and train them, and
yeah. Part of that though is that we live here year round. You know, we're not coming in from out of state and then, you know, looking to do our own thing after.
Is that a pretty common thing for guides seasonally to come in from out of state? And
yeah, it's a lot harder. I mean, there are guys that they're like Dallas, full-time outdoor industry. They make the majority of their
fall
money.
Of the summer. Yeah.
Well, no, they just make them here that are full-time guys, but they work. I mean, those guys fish every day they can, right? Yeah. And it's a grind, and you can do it. It's a lot harder now that without the Kings. But so we do have the college kids, you know, that have their certs and come up and guide, or some guys, like Chase, he owns a lodge in Mexico, so he fishes here, and then winters and does his thing there. And
Yeah.
there's some Northern California guides that
Sure.
come up here for the season. But
Yeah, and I think we were talking about this a little bit, over the past couple days. But I've experienced a little bit working with my wife too. Not as long as the two of you had, but it was really cool and really special, and we were really passionate about what we were doing. It was a lot of video work, and it was just really cool. It was really special, and it was neat to kind of hear the experience you guys had. And there was what I found especially interesting was there's this competitive nature, but at the same time, a lot of support. And especially the way you talked about Dallas, just very much so proud of her, and, just in awe of everything that you do. And it's just cool. So I'd love to hear about that experience. What is that like working together as a couple, and what are the challenges, but
Let's
what do
let
you
Dallas
love?
I'll
start.
let you start.
Yeah.
It's really unique, not a lot of people do that.
It has
And
actually been really great.
That's awesome.
Because he's got what you call his full-time other job being a firefighter, right? So basically, as far as the booking, websites, client relations, all that, that's what I'm doing on the off season, right? And in season as well, right? Because he's got his hands full with the fire department. So I'm kind of running the day-to-day operations of the business in addition to the guiding as well, right? So it's been a really good role for me. To be able to have that going on, especially during the year. So I'm not just sitting at home, especially when the kids are both in school. I've got something to do. I'm working on something. I've got goals and stuff like that. But then when we get to the guiding part where we're both out there, we're working together. We are a unit. We are helping each other as far as, sockeye season, which is sockeye salmon is a huge season for us, right? It takes up a good month of fishing. And so it's something if his trip goes out early, mine's going later. Hey, Dallas, come on down. We've got a spot for you. We've got, this is how the fishing is doing. So we can feed off each other and essentially just help each other out and always, support each other, but actually, help us. So we're putting our clients on more fish and giving them a better experience, right? He does very well and loves to do the silver salmon fishing, right? I love to do the trout fishing, right? So we can also work.
we are very aware of this, the difference between the two
we
of you
can
on this.
we can play to our strengths in that as well. We can both do each species, but when I'm booking a trip, I know, hey, it's a trout trip. I'm going to prioritize me over a silver trip. I'm going to try to give it to Dustin if I can, if he's available. So we each have our strengths and weaknesses, and then when we are pinned against each other, possibly across the river from each other, and you're watching, the other day I was watching his boat, get, I don't know, 5 silvers in a row. Just
That was our
first
boat.
day.
That was our boat.
That was us.
that morning I was still doing okay because I still had 2 rods, but a chip time before that, but enough to where you're supportive at first, and then it starts to be okay, all right, it's our turn. Okay, why haven't we gotten a fish? And so then but then there's also that phone call coming in and saying, hey, I'm getting this fish on this type of bait, on this type of depth, so he's going to support me and try to make sure that I'm being successful as well, right? We're always going to look out for each other. Same with trout fishing, right? Oh, this is where we're finding them. This is what we're using. And just gives you another body out there to help you target whatever species you're after at that moment.
His success is your success.
Absolutely.
And I think we got to witness a lot today because the fishing was tough, how the guide network supports each other. But you guys have kind of another level on top of that. Yes, you're both guides. Yes, you're kind of in the network and you're helping each other and different guides and outfitters. But then there's this other additional sort of, almost it's another
tier.
level, another
Yeah.
tier. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously he's going to be the top tier with me, right? And
Right.
then we're, once we're taken care of, we can help out our fellow guides and then also help out our fellow locals. And that's a point I want to drive in is we are locals. We want to see this community do well, and we want to take care of those locals as well, right? So as much as we strive to make sure we're including them, so the ones that we know, or if we don't know them, if we're leaving a spot, right, wave in that local boat.
Right.
They have enough struggle as it is with so many guides on this river to make sure that they're also being successful too, right?
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're giving a good impression of what the guide community can do and how we can help them as well, right? So we want to see everyone getting fish,
Right.
not just the ones that are paying for it in our boat. So,
Right. And I think that's another we've talked about it a lot, but it's I I think there's often a misconception of, oh, you're fishing guides in Alaska, like that's glamorous, and it's a grind. We were out in the rain for 8 hours today.
Today was not that glamorous.
Today wasn't glamorous, but I think
Type 2 fun.
Yeah, definitely type 2 fun. But I think just to touch on that, like, yes, you're fishing guides. Yes, you're in a beautiful place. Yes, the fish you're chasing are beautiful. And yes, you eat well. But you also have 2 little ones at home, that are going to school and doing all that kind of stuff. You also have all the prep work. You touched on the back office stuff, the booking, the client relations, the marketing, all that kind of stuff that Dustin, like, conveniently doesn't have to participate in.
I don't even know what we charge. I tell everyone I'm the handsome lead fishing guide, and it's awesome.
It seems to be working. I mean,
I just get to show up and fish, but like prep work too. Like curing up eggs for
I didn't
bait.
even know that was a
and
thing. Yeah.
But so we vacuum packed your fish when you were done. Like that's a little extra for you guys because you're awesome. But when you left, I had an hour of cleaning out those bait coolers, curing more sardines, just all the little things. Those sardines that started hitting at the end that had that extra little cure, not just the fresh.
Right.
Like that doesn't get there on accident.
Yeah.
It's all those little things all the time. And then it's looking at, we didn't break any rods today, but like sockeye season, you're breaking rods, you're having to restring lines, and just, you're always setting stuff up. Your day doesn't end when the clients hop off the boat and even the fish are filleted, right? Or even before you guys show up, we're there half hour, 45 minutes before anyone gets there. And you guys were there at 5:25. We'd already been there for half an hour, making sure boats are fueled. It rained all night. So just, all the little things that a lot of people don't see. Touch back on it's not always so glamorous part,
And like Tim was kind of saying, like the fact that it is a long day for us with you, then it's that stuff. And you have kids.
And being a family.
And you're married. So the fact that you're doing this stuff together, and then, I mean, it's so much. But when we were over the other day, I mean, it was so awesome to see you guys with your family, and it just,
Yeah.
2 cute little kids, happy, running around, seasoning the fish that we ate.
And I'd be amiss not to point out why that's possible, and that's his parents. Gosh, I'm getting emotional. They are amazing. Without them, we couldn't do this. I mean, there's no daycare at 3 and 4 in the morning. Some of those sockeye trips start so early. You cannot. What are we supposed to do with our kids? So they not only do they come up and watch our kids for us, they live with us in the summertime, but they want to do that. They want to be there. They want to have that relationship with our kids, and it's great. Like, it really, gosh.
No, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, we're incredibly fortunate. We wouldn't be able to do we wouldn't be able to do it really.
Yeah.
And then to factor in, I still, I only have so many vacation days I can take. So a lot of the guiding has to work around my schedule. But when I'm at the fire department, I'm gone for 48 hours.
Right.
And then if she's fishing, I mean, my parents, they'll drop the kids off at school, pick them up if we need. And yeah, it's huge. I mean, our support system, we're very fortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
Very fortunate.
For sure.
And I think what's so cool about that is that now your kids get to see parents who are doing what they love together, and that's what's awesome about those support systems is they allow for that to be a reality, and that's what a cool like thing for your kids to watch as they grow up. I love that.
Yeah, and then to have that trade off with, not that Dallas doesn't work for, what is it, 6 months out of the year, because she's all the behind the scenes stuff, but then to almost be that stay at home parent that does get to make all the things, it's awesome. We're very fortunate, I feel.
Yeah. No, it's and I think one thing we all can relate to sitting here is what it's like to work for yourself. Like, there's very rarely is there someone backing you up. Like, you have fans, you have people helping to promote you, but having one, each other, and then 2, your parents backing you guys up. Like, it's being a small business in America is not easy. And then when that business, to your point, you're up at 3 and 4 in the morning sockeye fishing. It's the success rate long term is pretty slim. So you kind of need to have that stuff, and it's awesome. I think it's just so cool too that we've got to spend time with your parents, knowing your parents, and like, you know, the whole family, and the kids are awesome, and everybody. And I think so often we look at you know, like, you could get an office job, you know, you could still be a fireman. You guys would probably be miserable, but like, you know, your kids get to see you follow in your passions, like what John said, and that's huge in today's world. So.
Yeah, I love being a fishing guide.
Yeah.
Like I really do, and I've talked to you guys about it, you know, just sitting on the boat and stuff, and you've recognized the support. Like, I'm so stoked for Dallas. Like, I am proud of her, and a lot of the things that I will never know about, because like I always joke, like, oh, that dude looks kind of homeless and poor. I bet he's a great fishing guide. Sweet, let's get on his boat. You know, like, she doesn't, that's not how people probably view her, and it's such a disservice because she's such a awesome guide, like, very good at trout. She really underplays how good she is at silvers. We all saw it today.
Dude,
She was running that boat today. That was a tough day, and we got a limit of silvers.
You got a pretty good size one.
Yeah, one guy caught a nice size one. Mine was perfect, but I mean, there was a limit of silvers on a really tough,
when no one was
day.
limiting today.
Very few.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was her doing that work. You know, it's awesome.
I do think we'd be remiss to not paint the scene. So like, we get there at 5:25. It's pouring rain. It's black. I mean, like, there's no moon in the sky. If it's up there, it's covered by clouds. We get on this boat, and we've got a 20-30 minute drive upriver. Downriver. And it's pouring rain. Can't see anything. And Dallas didn't go like, hey, Dustin, like, I don't like doing this. Can you come and drive the boat? Like, she drove the boat down there. I wasn't scared, I don't think. But like, in solidarity, I was like trying to face forward, because it's really easy for us just to look back at Dallas, like, suffering as the rain's hitting her face and she can't see anything. And I couldn't even just like turn around and like look to see where we were going. Like, and I think I said it earlier today, like, most mortals would not like be able to do that. It was insane.
It was like needles hitting your face.
It was
the entire time.
And we're just like blasting through.
I don't recall it being that painful, but at the same time, and maybe you guys didn't notice, but
We're a few Californians.
Yeah, I don't
never
remember it being
been
that
to
bad.
Alaska.
Faces.
But maybe what you didn't see was Dustin facing that way, spotting for me as well, right? Even before I gave him the flashlight, he was looking ahead, and I know what exactly he was doing. He was making sure, right? Because it's not so much worrying about where the bends are or the shoreline is what's floating in the river that we're not expecting, right? That high water from the rain is bringing all that debris into the water. So there could easily be a tree stump or a log or something there that I'm not going to see until potentially the last minute, right? And do some serious damage to the outboard. So that support system, right? He was looking forward. He was spotting for me. Gave him the flashlight at one point, do it. And if you thought I didn't think about handing him the boat, I thought about it. I was like, I could just hand this over, but it was just light enough that I could make out the shoreline, right? So I knew where I was.
I was just like, she's a badass. This is crazy. Like, yeah.
What were some of our favorite moments from the past few days? Anybody have any favorite moments? I mean, mine was many moments of watching Andrew almost fall out of the boat today. That was delightful.
Yeah, filming and not paying attention to wake, just almost going backwards over the boat. Yeah, that was
Developed
great.
a system though. Started holding on to it.
A nice
Tether.
mounting system.
I think we talk about this a lot, and like, I love to learn. Like, I was a guide for a little bit many years ago. I am also employed in the outdoor industry. I've learned such a massive amount this trip of things that, quite frankly, like, I probably wouldn't have learned. We've talked about our love for fly fishing, and like, I could sit there and talk about it all day. I know a lot about that stuff. I know nothing about what we were doing with silvers the last 2 days. I didn't know about curing eggs. I didn't know about plugs. I didn't know about line distance from the boat, or even just how you set up or what, how the fish move. That's been my favorite. And I think if you are considering, I think there's a lot of momentum and sort of like conversations around doing it yourself. And I think that's great. I think people should go experience things themselves. But if you want to learn and you want to be successful quickly, like hire a guide. Like, I don't care what it is, but if you're coming up here and sockeye fishing or silver fishing, like hire a guide, because I can go out and spend a fortune. Any of us can go spend a fortune on the boat and all the tackle and everything, but you do not have that knowledge is where the value is, and the years and years. I mean, you've been on this river since you were kids, for the most part. And so that's been my favorite thing is watching you guys work, being able to ask really nerdy questions or stupid questions and be like, oh yeah, it's this. And then seeing those things that we talk about come to fruition and fish get on the line, it's been, and I think, well, we'll talk about that later.
A lot of favorite moments.
Yeah.
Your answer is a lot of
It's
favorite
crazy.
moments.
It's crazy. Well, other favorite moments? Anything that you want to touch on?
I mean,
guess?
from the two of you or Andrew or whoever.
I honestly, it was all amazing. Getting the largest, rainbow that I've ever seen, and pulling that in, that was really special. I think actually, like, overarching is just the attitude that everybody had on the boat that you guys kind of create. I think, I think we've been talking about a lot of different things that have to do with how great both of you are, how good the experience is. But I think that actually sets the tone for the week or day or whatever you're doing, and being on a boat with people that you want to be there with, that you come away with a really good experience that you want to go back, you want to tell all your friends about. I think that's really, special. It's not just about the fish. It's about the memory you create by doing the activity. So,
yeah. So hire a guide. Have a good time.
And just to touch on that, that speaks to how much we've enjoyed you guys. We didn't have to send both guides today, right? It was like, hey, we could, and it would be fun if we enjoyed. If we weren't enjoying you guys, one of us would have probably just stayed back. It would have been like, you take them silver fishing, Dustin. You got this. So I'm gonna just enjoy a nice, quiet day.
But then
at home.
Dustin wouldn't have
Got
been
to
able to
fish.
pull
Yes,
that.
he
Get
did
his largest
but
fish ever.
Really
Trust
nice
me, if you
sized
guys
fish.
weren't enjoyable to be around, we wouldn't have even thrown that as an option. I wouldn't have been like, oh, hey, we can both go. I have the day off. We can both go.
Dude,
It
that
was
made it. That
yeah.
made
So it was
absolutely.
it was fun for the just testament to how much we've enjoyed you guys. And yes, he got to catch a fish.
Yeah, that was awesome. I can't tell you the last time I actually got to reel in a silver. That was great. But I think for me, one of the highlights or whatever was getting to share just how awesome our river is and just the kind of the different ways. I know I didn't get a trout fit. Oh, I guess that first little pre-scouting deal we
Yeah,
did
with
on
the
the
bonus.
We get off the car
On
and we're
my
like
buddy's
not
boat.
ready to film or wearing any of the right gear. We're like, all right, I guess we're
Hop in
going
the
out.
boat.
We're doing this.
You guys want to go fish?
Yeah, so I got to see a little of that, and that was cool. But also just to show you like the two different sides, and like you're saying, you're a huge fly guy, and I am too. Like when we go on vacations and fish, it's fly only, and that because that's what we want to do for when we fish. But I do love that silver fishery, and just it is different. It's it's gear and running plugs and bait, and it's different, but it doesn't mean it's not fun. And that's fish. At the end of the day, fishing's fun.
Yes.
And then catching those aggressive salmon, just like crushing stuff. And I'm glad you guys got to experience. I'm glad you had an open mind to it and enjoyed it. And just the whole vibe of it, the hanging out, kind of relaxing, and that's what I like about it is you get to really meet people. You get to know them, and then it's interrupted by an epic little salmon fight, and then tossing the buoy, cranking the motor, floating down, doing it's
Changing all the bait back and forth.
Using the bucket.
yeah. It's just a cool way to fish.
That's John's highlight.
Well, he used it a lot, maybe more than anyone ever.
I've been
Anyone ever.
and I've been drinking lots of fluids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think, like I said I want to touch on the fishery itself, and if you guys could too, I think obviously Kenai River, world famous. Like, I've known about this place since I was a little kid. You know, obviously not in great detail, but just like that it exists and that it's pretty amazing. I think there might be, and I'm going to call it a misconception because we talked about this at dinner the other night, that it's overcrowded. It's too crowded. I think the term used was canned. And I am somebody that I would rather see 0 animals on a hunt as long as I don't see any people. And I did not feel like it was overcrowded. I did not feel like I was fishing on top of people. Now, it's not sockeye season. I think that's something you guys can talk about that. But, like, you know, let's start with what makes, like, this river and this sort of ecosystem so special. What makes it, like, historically relevant? Because I think we've talked a lot about kings and where we are with that. And we'll start with those because I think it's really important for our watchers and listeners to understand a little bit of like what makes this river so unique and fun and special.
Yeah, so I think the first thing is accessibility. So this is a road accessible river. The headwaters are 2 hours from an international airport. So first off, that right there. And in Alaska, we're not on that blue ribbon system and all of that.
This is all blue ribbon.
It's just different, right? We're our own thing. And I don't think there's a river like the Kenai anywhere in the world. Like I said, the headwaters are 2 hours from an international airport. So accessibility is the first thing that makes this river special. I mean, you don't need a boat. There's places that you can park and walk in. Obviously, so you've seen it. A boat helps a lot on the Kenai, especially, you know, we're fishing in the lower section, but everywhere we fished was in town, basically. And to your point on it being crowd, there are people. I'm never going to say there's not people on the Kenai, but there's people because it's good, you know? And so there's a couple things I think that make it special, right? It supports a lot of people. Also, not everyone is targeting the same thing. So while you're trout fishing, you probably had to skirt around some silver fishermen. Well, they're not really messing with your program. You're not messing with their program. They probably waved at you. They probably asked, how's it going? Oh, you get any? They're probably stoked for you, you know? That's kind of cool, too, about people. You know, we got famous. The Kenai got famous for king salmon. And for a lot of years, that's what everyone came up here for. 25 years ago, there weren't really sockeye guides. 2007, statewide, Alaska just saw a downturn in king salmon returns. The Kenai held on for a few more years, and then it started really going down. And then we haven't been able to fish them. What was this, 3 years, 4 years now?
2 or 3.
Yeah, so we just started closed. You know, there's a lot of factors. I mean, you could do multiple podcasts on that. So
right.
We'll kind of just, let's just say it's out of our hands, right? And they're trying to figure it out. And obviously we would like that to come back because life's better when there's giant king salmon in your river.
Yeah.
You know, you got to see some kind of spawned out while we're trout fishing, you know, like floating over some, like they're
The size
amazing.
of that coffee table. It's crazy.
Or
Yeah, just popping
bigger,
up right next to
bigger,
the
yeah.
boat.
You know, and
What
so
was that?
now it's kind of turned in for most guides. Like the majority of a season are sockeye fishing, and that is really crowded. But you also don't need a lot of space for it.
Right, because they're hitting so hard.
You only really need as much space as for your swing, and without like you guys didn't come up during sockeye season, but if you did it, it would make a lot more sense. But you know, you honestly don't need a ton of space. That's that combat fishing. People probably seen pictures of it. That's that in their head. Yeah, it happens. You are close to people, but it's awesome. Like this year we had an epic run. Like the limit started at 6. We'd have 4 people in our boat, so that's 24 fish. There were times it took us longer to clean fish than for our clients to catch 24.
Right.
Get their 6 each.
So crazy.
Yeah, and it was wild. I mean, there were days we had more than one day over 240,000 sockeye counted that day running. So
That's wild.
Real quick, because I think it'd be awesome to talk about the sockeye stuff, but I wanted to call something out when you were talking about, you know, it's not like there's no one there, like what we've been experiencing. And I think what was so cool is that what we were experiencing wasn't, oh, there's a lot of boats out. It was, oh, there's a fishing community. And how many times, like, you'd be on the phone, like calling someone, they'd be helping you out. You'd wave at people, they'd stop and talk to, like, you.
We know all the guides' names.
You already
now.
have a rapport. I know,
Yeah,
right?
we got Brian checked in on us a few times.
tossed them Pendleton.
Yeah, we gave him some
David,
Pendleton.
yeah.
David.
Casey, yeah,
helped
we-
us out.
But especially that one moment where, you know, we were next to each other yesterday, and then you left, and then I forget his name.
Brian.
That was Brian. Okay. Good job. You remember. So Brian pulls in. He's like, sorry, I took Dallas' spot.
And offered the
Yeah,
spot back.
and then he took off, and he's like, we're going to peace out for a minute. Do you want to come up here? Because it's been hitting. Just like that kind of stuff. And you even said, like, you're like, man, this is what a stand-up guy being able to
Oh, yeah.
offer that. And I think that, for me, that's what I was I never felt like, oh, there's a lot of boats out here.
Well,
I
he was
just
on
like,
the.
this is so cool. Like,
He was on the other side of the river, and it was slow, and we were crushing it. And then Dallas caught her too quick, but they had to stop because they were going trout fishing. And then he rolled in and then proceeded to catch like 7 when we
We
slowed
got on a
down.
single rod.
But
yeah.
that was I've never had that before, honestly. And it was super nice of him. But I mean, we got ours at the end, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
it was just cool to see.
We just got
that.
down to that last rod.
Yeah.
And it was cool you guys got to see that kind of struggle with yesterday, how quick we got on those fish in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
It was
kind of the
every
opposite
5 minutes.
experience, you know?
today,
Today was the exact
I think a
opposite. It was
lot of people had
grind out and then-
the grind out today. Like today was tough.
Yep.
But again, that's kind of cool that you guys got to see. Like it's not always that quick,
Yeah.
easy getting fish.
Yeah, we got to see both sides of the spectrum for sure. And I think that like we've talked a little bit. Oh, there's people. It's crowded. You know, so often when we're trout fishing, I'll use because that's what I'm most familiar with. But there's the trout are pressured, so they're not. You know, they're hard to catch. I shit you not, I've never caught so many trout in a single day in my life. Like, and this is a big river. This is not like they're all in some skinny piece of water. Like, there's a lot of water moving down. Like, and we fished all day. I don't know. I probably caught 20, 25 trout, something like that. Some of them were barely trout. Like, they were just out of the womb.
Smallest fish ever caught.
Smallest.
I think
Small ones.
Andrew got the smallest fish and the biggest fish of the day.
Sorry, guys.
Micro
Won both
fishy.
contests.
Size of my thumb.
So like,
Micro.
and then on the silvers, yeah, like there's people around, but we've got a freezer full of fish that says it's not overcrowded,
Right.
and it's not canned.
And that's the same thing with the sockeye fishing. Yes, you've got people around you when you're sockeye fishing, but no one's leaving that experience being like, oh, there was way too many people. They're looking at that catch being like, this is amazing. This was accessible. This was easy for me to get to. This was affordable. This was an easy day trip to add to my list of excursions that I'm already doing. And I've got the meat to take home to share with my family and friends, you know? So like
Right.
you don't, if people are leaving, being disappointed with how crowded it is, they're not voicing that to us.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, and I think one of the reasons I've never been here, well, I was saving it for a trip like this, but also like I always thought like, oh, it's gonna be 20 grand, 25 grand to come up here and hire a guide and, you know, get a charter plane and fly it from Anchorage and stay at a lodge, and you don't have to do that, and you can still go home with a freezer full of fish.
right. And that's, you know, those options are there. You can
Sure.
fly to Bristol Bay. You can go have those, you know, $15,000 trips, you know, per person. And that's just once you're there. That's not getting that second flight to get there once you can make it to Anchorage. So that's what the thing we're talking affordability, right? You're already spending so much money on the flight up here. You know, you can stay at a cabin like this. You can just do a couple of day trips on the river. And make it affordable, bring the whole family. You can take out, you know, it's a family friendly boats, you know, you can take out the kids. I think we've been successful
Dogs.
with dogs. Yep, we always always get welcoming dogs. I think we've had kids as young as like 8 be successful with the sockeye fishing on their own, So that's something where they're standing in the water, they're holding the rod by themselves, they're doing all the fishing by themselves. It's not in a rod holder, So they are actively catching those fish for the first time, in a technique that they've never done before. So that family-friendly aspect, making it affordable for families to bring, to come up, is definitely why the Kenai is so popular, is because it opens up that door to a lot of families that can't go over to Bristol Bay or to another location.
What is that technique?
Flossing. So that's right. I think we talked about it briefly, that those sockeye are not biting. So you're flossing for them, a technique that I'm not entirely sure where it came from.
Been around as long as you guys have.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know how long it's been around, but someone found a way to catch sockeye with a 8-9 weight fly rod. And or a spinning rod, but
And how does, I remember you kind of explaining it to us a little bit, why you have to do that.
So when the fish, basically when they hit the fresh water and the salmon hit the fresh water coming in from the ocean, their body is being told, hey, you're here to spawn, and they're no longer eating. So because of that, they're not biting. So to get these sockeye to bite is near impossible. There are a few exceptions to that, but for where we target them, you're basically throwing a line out there, and then the line goes through the mouth and brings the hook into their face, which is how you're catching them, which doesn't sound that great until you do it. When you're fighting these big fish on a 8 or 9 weight fly rod, it is a lot of fun. I mean, they will put up a fight for you for sure.
It's not like they just roll over like a bass and get drugged to
no,
get drugged in.
They'll put up a good fight. I mean, so
I just alienated all the bass fishermen that listen to the show.
Well, once they get out here and try this stuff out.
Yeah, they'll be into
Be
it.
a sockeye fisherman.
Be flossing.
Yeah, sockeye just aren't like silvers where they're aggressive and they're gonna bite and take stuff.
Right.
Like that one, like she was filleting, had multiple egg cures in it, or just the one, or it had sardine and egg cure. Like aggressive fish.
Yeah.
And you saw that with those takes, like especially some of those plug takes, those last
Teeth
couple.
marks on the plugs after. Yeah.
Yeah. So, fun fish. Both fun, just different styles of fishing.
Where are we on time?
Yeah, we're good.
Keep going. Explore Kenai is not just a guiding business. I think it's much more than that. We'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about that. I think, John mentioned earlier that we said we want to do a day on the ocean. You helped us out. It's your job, actually.
right.
Like,
not just a favor.
Yeah. It was a favor. You didn't have to do that, but that is a part of Explore Kenai. So talk to us a little bit about not just they can come fish with you on the Kenai River, but some of the other things you can help people do.
Right. So when we initially started looking into starting Explore Kenai, the initial thought that we had, laid out there was maybe I wasn't a guide at that point. Yeah, we were fishing a lot, but I wasn't certified to be a guide. You have to go through a lot of different things to become a guide on this river. It's like, what if I'm just booking, charters and river guides for clients, and then, you take a cut off the top. And so that's where we started, not necessarily doing that, but that was where the idea came from. And then we realized, well, I got to build clientele. And without doing that, I'm going to need to be a guide in order to build that clientele. Right. So that's where we're both going to need a guide. So I went through the steps to become a guide on this river, and but wanted to keep that aspect in there as well, like being able to book and expand the business to more than just the guiding, right? So basically, when you call us, you're getting local knowledge. Growing up here in my life, so I can answer a lot of questions just off that I know from my experience of growing up here, and from my background, anything from I worked through 2 other jobs in the fishing industry. I worked for Fish and Game. I worked at a cannery when I was younger as well. So I've had this background knowledge of kind of how the peninsula operates as a whole, right? My dad had multiple saltwater, hobbies, if you will, right? He did long lining for halibut. He had an oyster farm. So just kind of getting to experience all that gave me that knowledge to kind of help answer the questions when people come up here, right? So, hey, we have this day, we're coming from this location, what should we do? So I can answer that with, hey, if you want to go halibut fishing, rockfish, anything in the saltwater, this is the town you want to go to. You want to go see bears? Perfect. We've got a fly out charter that goes across the inlet. You can go do bears and fishing over there, right? So just being able to answer all those questions, but then also I've built connections with those businesses, so I can actually book those for you for future clients. And you're only dealing with me, which is super nice for someone that already has enough on their plate on getting up here the way it is. Now they're dealing with one person. So I'm going to be texting you the night before, being like, hey, you've got a saltwater charter tomorrow. This is where you're going. This is what you need to bring, right? You're not trying to reach out to 4 different people to figure out what's on your itinerary and where you're headed, right? So kind of a one-stop shopping is kind of how we're trying to sell it. Like, hey, come to me. I can help build your itinerary, help plan it out, get you booked for the different excursions that fit your family and your needs, you know. I don't know how many times in the beginning we get calls and someone's like, oh, I'm up at Denali, you know, I'm at the national park, but we want to come see you tomorrow. I was like, do you know what kind of a drive that is? Like, that's, you know, are you
huge.
driving from Washington to San Diego tomorrow? Like, it's a long drive, right? So you know, trying to be the person to help them plan their trip and get it booked for them as well. Makes my life easier. Yeah, exactly. Makes my life easier because then they're prepared and I know what they're doing. And but yeah, so it just having that booking feature as well, again, helps me stay a little bit busier during the winter as well too.
And you also you run some women's only trips too?
Yeah, but not just luckily. Like, so I don't own that business. So a lady that I got to meet quite a few years ago, name is Linda Leary. She owns Fishy Wear, which is a women's clothing line. And then recently, in the last few years, she took over Women's Fly Fishing, a business that had been hosting women's trips for a long time, and she's now the owner of that. And I just got lucky enough that she likes me enough that she's been letting me host some of her trips for her. So basically, I'm just facilitating these trips for these women, and I get to go along with them, right? So we did one to Belize last year. We did Honduras this year. And she's letting me bring some ladies to Mexico in April to go chase permit, top water permit. So I think he even talked about Chase, a guide that's up here owns this lodge down in Mexico. And they're chasing permit with top water crab patterns on the fly rod. So, you know, with what limited permit fishing experience I have under my belt, being able to go and chase one that's going to come top water, you know, like is going to be just surreal, especially if I can even get one take. I'll be pretty pumped. But yeah, getting the same kind of day, whereas I'm helping those ladies make sure they're prepared. They've packed everything they need. They've got the equipment. They know where they're flying into, you know, and kind of just hold their hand through the whole process. And then once I'm there, it's just me and, you know, 7 other ladies hanging out and having a good fishing trip. So it's a win-win.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That sounds like a blast.
We were talking earlier and we were like, man, I wonder what, like, and you kind of mentioned it maybe a little bit when we were hanging out at your house, but I'd love to hear, you know, from you, like, what are those kind of bucket list, you know, fish that you want to go after, or maybe some of the stuff that you just love getting after, you know, even if
Dustin, we know yours are silvers.
Yeah, we know yours are silvers.
You know, obviously the permit was for a long time, and finally got one. Well, I counted 1.5. You know, you'll talk to some people and they'll be like, "Oh, we're on, you know, number 87." You know, like we're still relatively new to our saltwater journey as far as fly fishing. So I'm at 1.5, and that half comes from I picked one up in Mexico in January that literally was the size of my hand, and so it's hard to. The guide was like, "Do you want a picture of this?" I'm like, "I don't even know how to begin. Let's just put it."
We experienced that a few
way
times
out
this
in
week.
front
Yeah,
of you.
exactly. Like let's just go ahead and put that guy back down. So I say I have 1.5. So yeah, it's still very new at it. So that was the bucket list for a long time. Tarpon, I've got a juvenile one, but like and I don't even need like 100-pounder, like a good solid like 40-pounder, something in there would be amazing. Something that's going to jump, but not fight for the next 30-40 minutes.
Right.
I don't need, maybe 40-pounders do that. I guess I can't speak from experience on that. But a tarpon would be pretty cool. As much as we love our rainbow fishery, right? The reason we love those rainbows is how aerobatic they get, right? Yeah. That jump. And so to me, what's better than, a bonefish is great, right? They're going to take off and run line, but you never actually get to see them until you get them in. Like I want to see that tarpon, take line, run it, but also do the jump and all that kind of stuff. So, we've talked about browns possibly on the White River, where you're mousing for them. That's definitely up there.
You have fished the White River, though.
We have. We didn't get to, unfortunately, not during when the browns were
that's
really
right. That's
active.
what you said. Yeah.
So, Maybe target a different time when we go down to see his parents. Maybe target a time when we can go after those browns.
And explain to us again what mousing is.
Yeah, just basically you've got a fly pattern that looks like a mouse, and you're maybe it's different locations, but up here in Alaska, you're skirting it across. Like if it fell out of a tree, right? And so that mouse pattern, you're dropping it like close to the bank, like the mouse fell out, and now that mouse is trying to scurry to get back to
And
safety.
this is on the fly, right?
It's out, yeah. So it's a fly pattern.
Yep.
And it's like Shark Week. I'm telling you, those rainbows come up and just hammer that mouse, right? It's a big meal for them. So they're aggressive and they want to get there first and take it.
That was new to me. I didn't know that rainbows did it as well as the Browns are famous for it, right? Mm-hmm. But you're saying that those rainbows just
you don't
dinosaur
where we've done it before. We haven't seen them like as big as you see. You see the ones on the right that are just massive.
Right.
30-inch plus. Browns doing it. So you don't see the size here, but it doesn't matter. Like
that's so cool.
Seeing any fish come up for any kind of dry fly is amazing. Let alone like to see them hammer a mouse pattern.
Yeah.
So. Those are kind of some of the ones we're looking at right now, and then sailfish on the fly.
Yeah,
is definitely up there for me.
I have a couple others.
Other than
She doesn't want
silver.
I want to go to Chile
Yeah.
and do Kings.
Yeah.
And if there's any lodges listening that need a guide, dude, hit me up.
he will work for it.
I will. Yeah, that's probably the only way I'll get to do it.
Right.
And then this is like way out there, Mongolia, Taman.
Yeah.
That's kind of way up there for me.
Yeah.
Just that river wolf thing.
Yeah.
Like that sounds awesome.
What kind of fish is that again?
It's just this massive river predator. It's a salmonoid. It's
Okay.
you should look it up. It's crazy.
Cool.
It doesn't look.
It
real.
does. It
Say,
looks.
what's
It looks
called
like
again?
Some people call it a river wolf, but
Yeah, it looks like
Taman.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're
TAI.
Yeah.
Right. MON.
Mongolia's kind of famous for it.
Okay, rad. Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's awesome.
So that's way up there.
It looks like something that would eat you.
Just the whole adventure. We were fortunate enough to go to Christmas Island a few years back, and that's kind of it's not just a species always. It's more like the whole adventure of it too. Roosters and Baja, but like the whole, with a buddy, like a spotter, like the whole just fly only, like. So of course you're gonna go there for 2 weeks and have one shot, like that kind of thing. But like the Christmas Island trip, just the whole adventure of it. And so I think going to Mongolia and doing that whole thing looks pretty awesome. But I mean that's way probably when you say bucket list, like that's it. Like probably never gonna happen, but we'll see.
You never know. Someone might be listening to this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we got here. So.
Yeah, I made it to Alaska. State number 49. I gotta get to Maine. That's my last one.
Well, that was impressive. Dallas is almost done too.
You are?
What do you got left?
I need Mississippi and West Virginia.
Well, Mississippi's closed.
I know.
You
I
gotta-
don't. So we were in Arkansas whenever that was the last time, and I think we were driving to Louisiana. And he's like, "Do we need to just go?
Yeah.
one more state over?" I'm like, "No. Like, let's have a purpose for going there first. I don't want to just like cross the border and come right back." I
Right.
think maybe we had the kids in the car or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
So at some point I will be able to I'm confident I'll get Mississippi, but West Virginia, I don't know when I'm headed.
I mean, it's
that
it's
direction.
underrated. It's
West
beautiful.
Virginia.
Yeah, no, it's
Really?
beautiful. The Gauley River in West Virginia.
Okay.
Famous for whitewater rafting.
Ooh, well, that'd be fun.
But yeah, West Virginia from a beauty standpoint is a totally underrated state.
Okay.
So
All right. Well,
anything that you guys want to ask us?
Yeah.
I spaced for a second. I was like,
So what was
How do we
your
close this?
like as far as like fishing and you being the fly guy?
Yeah.
And you said you learned like you like the learning and stuff,
Yeah.
but was it pretty fun when the clickers and that rod buckled and going
dude.
off?
Yeah. I think I made a comment about like if I was a degenerate gambler, I'd be like betting on which rod would like go off next, and then it just like I think that noise, that clicker noise, that screech, whatever you want to call it, is like people know that noise even if they've never been fishing. Like it's in the movies. It's like I would do that. I mean, we had the option to put up and go trout fishing today, and I was like, I want to stay and do silvers, you can love more than one thing, you know? And so, yeah, for somebody, yeah, I think I told you the story. My dad, like, was like a 5-weight, like dry fly guy his whole life. He wasn't until like the week before he died that he held something heavier than a 5-weight in his hand. You know, it was an 8. And so that's how I was raised. So to come out here and, you know, on trout, learn an entirely new technique, you know, and new equipment. And I've fished under indicators every once in a while, but not like you guys are doing it here. Catch more trout than I've ever caught. And then to go over, do something that is completely foreign to me, that, let's be honest, a lot of fly guys are like pretty snobby and put their nose in the air at those bait casters and stuff like that. Dude, I thought it was a blast. You get down, you figure it out. I'm very formulaic. I'm very type A too. So it's like, okay, 40 feet, like switch the thing.
Or 26 and a half.
26 and a half was my lucky number. That was not on Dallas's boat. She would have not accepted 26 and a half feet. But
And maybe a little, we're getting into that inside ball kind of convo right now. If you're listening to this, you'll see it in the film that'll come out. But silver fishing, we're essentially just letting our line go with the current about 26 and a half to 40 feet. And
depending on where the other boats are.
Yeah. And so a big part of that is leaving the clickers on so that you can really hear the fish start to pull, because the current's going to pull it a little bit, and it might be hard to it's going to bend. So it's hard to judge based off the bend until it's really ready to grab that rod. But also, it's just fun to hear that sound, and it gets you going.
So good.
And your
really
idea
fires you up.
It did.
Your $1 million idea to get you traveling to Mongolia is making an alarm clock with that clicker sound.
Well, you at least wake up happy every day.
Yeah, it's true.
Like that sound is good. It kind of got you fired up every time.
Yep.
Yeah, like good. I was feeling under the weather this morning, but every time that reel clicked, I was like, I will run through a brick wall right now to get to that rod and reel.
Totally.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
We've got a few days left with you guys, but I want to take time right now just to say thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you for not just obviously the amazing guiding and, you know, the freezer full of fish, but for like sharing your families with us and you know, your home and some secrets along the way too. It's been truly like, again, people are like, oh, Kenai, it's overfished, it's crowded. It's a trip of a lifetime. Like, you helped us all like, you know, check one of those bucket list things off our lists. And so thank you guys for not just being awesome guides, but friends and good people and that kind of stuff too. So
I mean, it's amazing to hear that, just and even being compared to your captain in Baja, is it Marcos there? Like, but that's kind of what we're striving for. Like, I want people to have that trip of a lifetime when they come and be with us. Like, I want you to be excited, and I want it to be a great experience every time. Because again, at the end of the day, fishing's supposed to be fun, and I want to share that with people. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but like, I dig it. I like being out there.
We could tell.
I like doing it.
Yeah, it was interesting meeting your 8-year-old son. How old is he? 6-year-old son, Blake. And, you know, you're like, oh, it's his son, it's his dad. And then today, when you're a civilian, not a guide on the boat, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm looking at Blake right now. Just turned into a little kid. I was like, I saw a different side of you. I was like, this is awesome. You just like went into that mode. It was so cool.
Yeah, I think twice so far this week, you guys have said, I've never seen Tim this happy.
Yes.
Like,
it's true.
Like, even people I sent pictures to were like,
yeah.
I've never seen you smile that much.
Yeah.
So either I'm just a grumpy
asshole.
asshole.
We were looking at the picture, and Andrew and I both said that to them. And I think in like 30 minutes, you got the same thing from your girlfriend or something.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's, you know, when we started guiding, right? Like, is this guiding going to ruin what we love to do, right? Like, is it going to take away from it? You know, so it was like, oh, should we just focus on salmon because we love that rainbow fishery? And obviously we're like, no, we want to do, you know, we want to put people on rainbows. And it turns out you love putting people on it as much as you love being the one actually catching it, right? Like, when someone catches their first rainbow, when someone catches a massive PR, like, like that's just as exciting to us, you know. I mean, Dustin claims that they're part his fish at that point, but right, yeah, he does claim, he's like, well, that's technically part of my fish. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like we get enjoyment from the enjoyment that you guys were getting when you're doing so well, right? Like, yeah, what was a big fish to you guys might not be big considered to what we're used to, but like you're excited, so we're excited for you guys to help you reach those goals too. So.
Sure. No, it's been awesome. We got a few days left. Don't think I didn't see that drift boat in your driveway. I did. Next time.
Yeah, next time for sure.
Anything else, guys?
No, I definitely want to second that. Like, I think this is probably the biggest and best bucket list thing I've ever done. So thank you both for being so great and inviting us all together and be friends. And it's going to be a lifetime memory. So.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Tim has been doing a lot of this stuff, you know, most of his life, fishing and hunting, and grew up with that. Andrew and I are very new to this, and that's kind of what the Curious Hunter is all about. And I started kind of getting into it, and then Andrew reaches out to me, and we've known each other for a little bit. We work together a lot, actually, on creative teams. And so he reached out, we started getting into this stuff. So for us, it really is, not that it isn't for you, but it truly is a bucket list, because we've only been doing this for like a few years, fishing and hunting and stuff. And I know you grew up fishing, but like
I grew up fly fishing for really small trout compared to what we're looking at, and in small tiny creeks and crevices of California. But it's a totally different experience. It's beautiful. It's they're all fish are beautiful, but I think just getting in the water and seeing how big this fishery is and how amazing it can be.
And to Californians, you know, like grew up there. Like Alaska is just like this thing that you're like
Wild West.
It's just
vast,
its own world, and for us, it's just being able to come here and it's really amazing. So, thanks again for making.
You're
that
welcome.
experience,
It's been a
especially
pleasure
for
to have you
people like
guys.
us. Yeah.
Real quick, how do people find you if they want to talk to you about coming to Alaska? And
Probably just the easiest way is direct them to the website, explorekenai.net. You know, from there, my phone number is listed and it's my personal line, so they'll come right to me. But yeah, an email is easy, right? Break it down on what they're looking for, or if they don't know what they're looking for, you know, just give me a call and we'll kind of go through all the different options and different seasons of when it is. Just lodging is probably the hardest thing to get. Which is what's so nice about having this partnership here with these guys. But that's the first thing you should nail down is get your lodging squared away first. And then from then on, we can get the excursions lined up for you.
Awesome. Yeah. And we'll put your contact info in the show description, and jump on our Instagram. We're doing collab posts with them this week, and look for more to come.
Yeah. And a film and some awesome content. So
Looking forward
Thanks,
to it.
guys.
Yeah. No, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.